So we've learned that AI models can call tools to extend their capabilities. But what if we can let them call multiple tools, make decisions about what tools to use, and even learn from the results? That's where agents come in. If you've been following along so far, you've already seen multiple demos of using the Cursor agent. At its core, an agent is simply running tools in a loop. You can kind of think about it like this. Instead of you having to tell the AI what to do step by step, you give it a goal and you let it figure out the steps itself. It's kind of like the difference between giving someone turn-by-turn directions versus just giving them the destination and then they use the GPS to figure it out. So back in Cursor, I'm gonna say, let's pop confetti when a chat finishes. Notice I didn't say, go look at this file and read this text and then add this new package. I just gave it an ambitious goal. Let's pop this confetti when the chat finishes. And I'm gonna let the agent figure out everything else between my intent and the code that gets output. Now, when we look through the output of the agent log here, we're gonna see all of the concepts that we've talked about so far stacking and building on each other. We see a prompt that we give to the model. We see tool calls that the agent is able to make, like searching and reading files. We see the agent managing a to-do list and kind of walking through step by step everything that we need to do. It's running commands, like adding new dependencies into our application and checking things off along the way. It generates some code, and it checks and makes sure that things work by checking for linting errors. Everything seems good, so it's able to actually start up our dev server in the background. And now we can actually step through the code in the editor and make sure that things look like what we expected. So we have this trigger confetti function that gets called when it finishes. That seems fine to me. And then we have this trigger confetti function. It decided to use a package called Canvas Confetti. Sure, I didn't even know that existed. So yeah, let's do that. And I can do a quick look over this code, and this all seems fine to me. Now we see on the right that this finished, and we can actually go to port 3000 and validate and make sure that this works successfully. So we have our application open on localhost here. It's kind of meta since this is what you're looking at right now, but we can just say, hey, and when this finishes, we get our confetti. So it's awesome to see that it works successfully. Agents work well when there are clear objectives and established patterns. So adding tests to an existing code base or adding new documentation as you add a new feature. However, they still struggle with complex debugging that requires this deep understanding of how the code base works. Also, if you give it a mock-up or some design and you ask the agent to make this pixel perfect, make no mistakes, they're probably not going to be a good fit for that either. You need to think about agents like very fast junior developers who require clear direction and oversight to make sure that they don't get stuck in these loops where they're repeating the same issue over and over again without stepping back and realizing there was a completely different strategy that they could have taken. You, as the developer, as the manager of the agents, are still responsible for verifying the code works correctly and critically that it meets your standards. Working effectively with these agents is about learning what to delegate and when. So as you're just ramping up to working with agents, start with smaller, well-defined tasks and build up your confidence in managing your fleet of agents. As you get comfortable, you can delegate out larger chunks of work, but you should always do this with validating and checking the work along the way. Now, in the future, we're going to cover more practical examples of how you can best utilize working with agents. But for now, hopefully this is a good intro into how agents work and how you can think about using an agent. The goal isn't to remove the human involvement in any way, but to help augment you and allow you to get more done and delegate different parts of the software creation process. Now you have this foundational knowledge about how to build software with AI, but the next step is up to you. I want you to take this knowledge and go apply it. Go build something with AI tools, whether it's a completely new project or adding an existing feature into your application. The best way to really solidify this knowledge is to go actually get hands on the keyboard and build some things. So please do that and stay tuned as we create more content to teach practical application of using AI tools to build software. We'd love to hear what you want us to talk about and teach, so let us know and stay tuned for the next one.